the forgotten children here at the Springs, it's disappointing, in my opinion. I would sign up, but is gonna represent us well. And need to be more efforts to really make sure that tonight I will also be bringing to your attention something, a request to be put on the agenda. But I will wait for that. Well, maybe I should take that. No, I'll do it during public comment. But thank you for doing this. And if there's anything that I can do to assist you guys, let me know. I'm the type of person that I just don't criticize or complain. I like to walk the walk. I like to hang out with people who do the same. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. All right, we will close public comment on this item. And again, welcome to all the new council members. Very excited to have a full group. So we have approval of the minutes from the June 8th meeting, and that is for the council, the council members, the new council members cannot vote on this item, but will in the future. Are there any changes or amendments to the minutes from the June 8th meeting?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Barat and Councilmember Alcaraz, first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Minutes passed. Okay, the next section of the agenda, and we'll give a 3-minute time limit for public comment. This is for items not appearing on the agenda. So if there's public comment for items not appearing on the agenda.
If I may, Chair Iturri,
Yep.
we will attempt to take virtual public comment after in-person public comment.
Okay, let's give it a go. We're big time. Yay. Thank you, Karina, for making that happen. And Bob.
Again, good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak on public comment during public comment. My name is Mario Castillo. I live on the El Verano area, in the Cooperative area. Tonight, I want to ask the MAC to please consider adding to the agenda an item related to the ERAP rent assistance. More than a year ago, Food for All, Sonoma Valley Housing Group, in collaboration with MVOP, took upon the activity to help people sign up. We held a few clinics, and then we believe that we signed up over 150 some families for rental assistance. It was during that time where the pandemic was very affecting very hard our families, and supposedly there was money available from the county. And something happened where, so we partnered with MBOP who had then the money, and then basically gather a bunch of volunteers. We have a few members from the MAC who participated helping and sign up people. And it's been over a year. And well, some families may have gotten the assistance. A lot of them have not. I would love for this body to actually request, inquire, find out whatever happened to all those people who did not, who haven't gotten the assistance. There's still people struggling to this day. And those applications after MBOP chose not to continue the program were transferred to other organizations. And somehow those families have not gotten the assistance. And I would love for that to happen so that you guys could actually use this situation to illustrate, which something that you already know, where families oftentimes get shuffled and then are just basically given, crumbs and lack of representation. So hopefully you guys could help us with that. I think that Food for All, the housing group, and MBOP need to provide information report on what happened. How was it, that all these families are still waiting to this day to get the assistance? And perhaps the county could also provide some light into what happened to that whole situation. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there additional public comment on items not on the agenda? And Karina, do we have virtual ones?
It looks like we have one raised hand. I will attempt to promote them at this time.
And there is still one
Stand up.
in-person comment.
There is.
I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
I wasn't expecting to come here, but hi, my name is Leticia Alcaraz. Actually, I'm his sister. I currently work at a financial institution. I work at a Raven Credit Union. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I think. Every year, well, this is actually the first year that we've done, but normally every year we do this event. It's called Shredathon. I've been working there for almost 5 years, and a lot of people from Sonoma normally come and ask if we are ever going to be doing anything in Sonoma. We normally do it in Napa. I normally volunteer in Napa, and that's like the closest community that we normally can go to. A lot of people normally have to even drive all the way to Santa Rosa, Novato. We do it in Marin County. We also do it in Napa. That's like our closest. But they normally ask if we're going to do anything in Sonoma. So normally we don't have requirements. People can take, all the shred they need and just get it done. But since we don't have anything in Sonoma, people normally ask that question, and I've been asking my brother to ask you guys to see if there's something you guys can do about it. So that's just another, yeah.
Can I just clarify, you're asking for a free shred event in Sonoma?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, good. Just thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for clarifying that. Thank you.
I think we can probably do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
We can look into that for sure.
I think it may be on the agenda. Oh, there's a portion of it. Okay, can we see if we can take the,
So the person who wants to make a comment is on another item. So we will take. the
is on
comment.
an agenda item. Great, thank you. Okay, so seeing,
For any of the members in our virtual public audience, if you could attempt to make a comment, we just want to make sure that we can take them. So Sandra, if you're there, if you can hear me, if you could just make a quick comment, just say hello.
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
We can't hear her.
Is it because my speaker's off?
Oh,
Please bear with us. We're trying to
Yeah.
work this out.
That's why we have a light agenda tonight. Can you put them up on the screen?
Well, this is what you would all see if I put them up on the screen.
Can we allow them to write their comment?
We usually don't take the chat. Okay. Can you try again, Sandra, please?
hi, can you hear me?
Can you say a sentence, please?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
So we hear her unmarried Carmen. No. So on Zoom, she is heard. So on your screen, Marty, you need to mute and then lower your speaker as well. And they can hear me.
We have a lot of things happening at once.
Where's that? Let me go. You can. Yeah. Sandra, can you speak again, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
You can hear me.
That's him. Okay.
Hi,
We only hear you on Zoom, but we cannot hear you in the building.
oh,
But it's in there, but I can't do it. She's not speaking.
Okay. We'll keep going.
Okay. Thank you, Sandra. We will
Maybe we'll do that.
take your comments for the spring specific plan at a later time. Thank you.
We'll figure out how to hear her.
Yep.
If Iris just recommended perhaps turning up one of the volumes on one of the Zoom, on one of the computers here.
It interferes with this system though.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. We will work out the kinks. I actually think we're doing really outstanding for the situation that we find ourselves in. And I'm going to explain a little bit about how this ended up being that we are where we are. Again, I want to welcome all the new members and just very grateful that they're willing to take this journey with us. So again, welcome. Oh, wait, we have community announcements. Sorry. Are there any community event announcements before I go into my update? Mari Carmen.
Yes, on behalf of my employment, we are doing the back to school drive for the back to school health fair that will be August 13th at Altamira School from 12 to 2:30. And we invite you to look at our Summer Valley back to school health fair Facebook page, and you can find flyers on how to donate funds. We need to raise funds for our goal is for 750 backpacks. So thank you.
Thank you, Mari Carmen. I'll do the other one. On September 10th at Larson Park, we're in the planning stages of a emergency preparedness event with community organizations participating. and that'll be in the afternoon on September 10th. September 10th is Emergency Preparedness Month. There'll be presentations from firefighters, and again, there'll be different community members participating. Map Your Neighborhood, Comida para Todos, the health clinic. I think the community center will be there as well, Art Escape. So we have several orgs who will be participating in the event, and we hope you can make it. It'll be in the afternoon from 3 to 7 on September 10th at Larson Park. Any other community events? Karina.
Queremos invitar a la comunidad de habla hispana a participar en la charla comunitaria que se llevará a cabo mañana, como cada mes, a las 6 de la tarde, de 6 a 7 a través de Zoom. Mañana estaremos hablando sobre la sequía, un tema climático, adaptación climática y también sobre un programa para jardineros o landscapers, como se conoce aquí en los Estados Unidos. We'd like to invite everyone to join tomorrow's charla comunitaria, like we have it every month, from 6 to 7 via Zoom. Tomorrow we will be discussing drought and climate adaptation, and information about a certification program for landscapers. Please join us. It's all in Spanish. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina. Okay, no other comments on community announcements? So again, welcome to the new members. And I just want to explain a little bit about how we ended up being in person. About 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, the state of California required that all government meetings be held in person, and did not give us a lot of time to make that happen. There were vacations happening in the middle of all of this, and we set in motion one of the requirements that the Springs MAC had was really important to us. It was the ability to broadcast this and give people a hybrid option so that they didn't have to be here in person if they didn't feel comfortable doing that. So we set that in motion, and then a couple of weeks after they established that the mandate, they took it back. So now we can go back to virtual meetings if we want to. So right now we're kind of testing this out to see what it's like to be in person and see if this is a path we want to continue with. So we'll be kind of evaluating this, but we do have the ability to flex back and forth and move from hybrid to all virtual to, hybrid or all virtual would be our two options. And the school district is willing to support us because they have the technology that allows us to do it within the Springs community. So that's how we got to where we are. And again, we'll be evaluating how this works out for us. The annual report has been submitted. So thank you all. Glad to get that out the door. I appreciate everybody's help in making it happen. And it's really nice to go through it and see all the things that we've accomplished. So it's kind of amazing. I've been able to do with emergency preparedness, with community outreach, just everyone's work, really appreciate it. And we know that we're all doing this on a volunteer basis, and it's all because of the love and passion that we have for the Springs community. So greatly appreciate everyone's work, and it's really nice to see it in a document. The last thing I want to invite, this is for council members on, it's not open to the public, but if council members are interested in participating on August 2nd from 9 to 12 p.m., there's a tabletop training put on by Catholic Charities. It's an activation drill exercise. It's the Sonoma COAD, and it'll be at the Red Cross chapter. It's happening, and it's for the council members to attend if they're interested in participating in an activation tabletop drill put on by the COAD and the Red Cross. So if you'd like more information about that, council members, it's during the workday. I'm not able to attend, but if there's someone who's interested in going and representing the MAC, that would be wonderful. Okay, that is it for my chair update, and we can take public comment on anything that's been stated. Any council first and then public comment. Okay. Any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. I'm not sure if Supervisor Gorin, Karina stepped out. Okay, so she won't be here. We'll skip that item. Thank you. Okay. So we have the spring specific plan letter. And Iris, thank you so much for all your work on making this letter happen. So just a little bit of backstory on this. The spring specific plan has been since I think 2015, and somebody at a meeting recently mentioned that it may have been even earlier than that. We heard a informational update from the county on the draft environmental impact report. At that time, we decided that we wanted to submit a letter based on what we were hearing from the community, as well as our own thoughts. Iris collected all that information and wrote a letter. And today we're going to review it. Karina, I think, is going to share the letter and I'll read through it. We'll ask for any edits. We'll take any comments from the council or the public. And then we are on a time crunch. I think we need to get it to the county by the end of this week. Yep. So we can take comments from the entire council. And I'll read through. I may summarize parts of it so that you're not listening to me do a read aloud. Okay. I have it here too. I think I can. Okay. So this is addressed to Supervisor Gorin from the Springs Municipal Advisory Council. So the draft environmental impact report. The next step is the approval of the Board of Supervisors. One of the proposed alternative plans. Opportunities for changes of the Springs specific plan are essentially over. Given the length of the documents and the time taken to produce the Springs specific plan and the DEIR and tight comment period is inadequate. Our primary concern is the change in economic reality in the Springs since 2015. Intervening structural and economic changes in Sonoma County and the country have caused the economic reality to worsen for our residents. The first bullet point, time between the inception of the plan in 2015 and the spring specific plan and the final product in 2022, significant and unexpected changes have taken place in the Springs community. Wildfires beginning in 2017, inception of the COVID pandemic in 2019, and resulting inflation have caused significant changes. Loss of income for many, increases in the cost of housing and the ability of very low to medium income individuals and families to afford housing. Problems already rampant in the Springs community have been intensified. The Springs addresses the physical aspect of the Springs, not the human composition of the Springs. Economic concerns are the primary objectives of the plans as they stand. The DEIR and the Springs specific plan downplay the economic reality of the Springs area. The planners have classified the effect of the resulting actions caused by the plans as less than significant. We assure that this is not true for the people of the Springs who will live the reality of whichever plan is chosen. Bullet 1, displacement of the Springs community members by gentrification is inherent in the plans, as well as displacement will occur as the plans are implemented. Public meetings to provide input for the Springs specific plan emphasize the desire and need of the community to avoid displacement of vulnerable residents and avoid gentrification. Intervening time has worsened economic conditions for vulnerable persons. Ignoring the reality is unacceptable. Actions must be included in the DEIR and the SSP that provide robust mitigation measures. Bullet 2, maintaining a diverse and vibrant Springs population. Our population is ethnically, racially, and economically and mixed aged. As a community, we continue to learn to live with each other and grow from our mutual experiences. We realize at the times of our aspirations exceeded our actions. consider life in Sonoma Valley without the springs. The economic health of the entire valley depends on workers who make their homes here. The jobs of many wage workers do not pay well enough for the necessities. It is well documented that most public service workers, as well as low wage earners, cannot afford to buy a home. Realistically, residents draining out of the springs create problems for local businesses and lost revenue due to staffing shortages, including business closures due to lack of staffing. We cannot forget other residents and non-wage earners, children, stay-at-home parents, retired people, permanently disabled, low-income, and homeless persons. We are a whole community. We must consider everyone in the springs, no matter their economic reality. For these reasons, we challenge Permit Sonoma to staff to make provisions to fit the reality of the springs and our sincere desire for an inclusionary community. Suggestions include provisions to maximize participation by experienced low-income housing developers, emphasize affordability at all stages of planning and construction, encourage modest ADUs, and provide intermediate housing for people displaced from their homes by new construction. Last but not least, we urge robust attention be turned to open space for community recreation and gathering. The plaza location is indeed historic, although smaller than the original space. What is designated is more than a parking lot in a commercial area. It is not too much to ask for more space to be found and provisions for actually starting to moving forward on a Springs community plaza. The residents of the Springs provide economic advantage for the Sonoma Valley and by extension, Sonoma County. Sincerely, the Springs Municipal Advisory Council. I was going to summarize and then your letter's too beautiful to summarize, so I said it all. Are there comments from the council?
I have some comments.
Yes.
I think it's a really great letter. You touch on a lot of things here that are very crucial. I would point out that Permit Sonoma is raising permitting costs 9% rather than decreasing them, but they're raising them in July. So that's nice. But the only thing that I just wanted to add is in this discussion about open space, I think it's important to mention improvements to Larson. We have such a diamond in the rough right there. It is so gorgeous in Larson. Let's fix what we already have. I kind of doubt they're going to make us a new park. We're having to have the Matsons make us the community plaza. I would really, really love to put something about Larson in that paragraph. That's what I would like to make as an update. But otherwise, this is incredible. Thank you.
The last paragraph.
Yeah, I would like to add something there, something about, that's great to ask for more community recreation space. I would like to ask for maintaining and keeping up to date what we already have because it's such a useful spot. So thank you for this letter.
Yes, of course. I'm trying to craft a sentence so that we can get it approved before.
Actually, I think what they'll say about that is that Larson's part, oh, is it not? Okay. Okay. I think what they'll say about that is that it's not, that Larson Park is not covered in the spring specific plan, actually. In terms of, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm not sure that that would be relevant. The spring specific plan is covering, it doesn't cover what look like teeny specifics to them, in terms of, I mean, it's a specific plan, but it's not specific to something like this. And I like the idea.
I
Mari
think,
Carmen?
yes, I think we definitely need to look at the map because it barely hits it, like on Johnson and Lindenberg. It doesn't really go over to Deshane. So it's a very limited 1 mile long rectangle, I would say. But somehow, I mean, it is, if it's in it, definitely we should put it, but also even just indirectly. Okay, yeah. So then thank you for the map So yes, I think Larson, because they had done a campaign for Larson that never went through and we missed an opportunity. And so I think it's very important that Larson be revamped, and like you said, it's a hidden treasure for the entire community for the spring. Thank you.
So it looks like we can add a sentence in about Larson Park, and I'm actually going to recommend that perhaps we write a letter advocating for some, because I just walked Larson Park recently. And it is in need of some love. So,
Oh goodness, sorry. One more thing, a crosswalk at the Highway 12 in Central. That we have been asking for many years, and more look into the Boys Boulevard and Highway 12 lights, because that seems to be a place where there's always a lot of accidents or pedestrians being on the verge of being hit.
okay. I'm going to go to Jesus, and then I think I hear Iris wanting to say something.
I would also like to comment about the pedestrian passing intersection by the food liquor, that one by Del Monte, Calle Del Monte. That is also a very dangerous intersection. I almost got hit when I was living nearby. But I would like to consider or make this the board of supervisors to think about the money that the government, local government is getting from the federal government regarding the infrastructure bill just passed by our president, and that money be channel to the community, and we want that in the springs. Thank you.
Thank you. Iris?
Um, these are all worthy issues, but I don't think that the scope of the spring specific plan covers them. So I feel like we would be spinning our wheels to make comments on them. And I'm sorry.
Is it
I think that they do, because I went to the Spring Pacific and we talked about where we wanted crosswalks,
Oh, yeah.
where we wanted green spaces. So I think it would be definitely important to put them in the letter. It was spoken about during these meetings.
Yes, but the plan itself, and we do have the communication with Caltrans now on crosswalks and things, and I think that's a better avenue to pursue.
But we need to hold them accountable because they promised that to us, and at the community meetings at the charter school. And that's what's happening here, that we need to hold them accountable for what they promised.
Jesus, and then Hannah.
So last month when we had these persons coming to talk to us about the environmental impact report for the springs, they mentioned a lot about the Highway 12 corridor, and most of it was about rent and creating a more housing by the Palms area. What is the name of
Donald.
Donald? And we heard about this complaint from the resident saying that he doesn't want that development there. I feel like it is not it's we heard their concerns, but I also feel like the environmental impact report should really look into the reality of our community, and that it is not that we want to make the springs a impacted community, but it's mostly like a way of decongest so much need for housing, and we should maybe revisit that with them, and we really want to work with them so that for the future, think for the future, our community, to look for the best for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Was it? Hannah, and then Celeste?
I guess I would just say like we could keep it short and sweet. I hear what Iris is saying about not going beyond the scope, but I also think that traffic is part of the scope. And if it's an environmental review, walking is a crucial, walking, biking, other forms of transit that aren't carbon dependent are really crucial. So I think your letter is excellent. I think we can do really short sentences here. Like look at, as we've discussed previously, the dangerous crosswalks. We don't even need to get into the nitty gritty. Say, we have already discussed dangerous crosswalks. We'd like that to be addressed in this plan. Something like that, just a suggestion. Thank you.
Celeste?
Yeah, I would agree that we have to address the safety of the walking and biking, not just for the reduction of carbon footprint, but because so much of our community does not have transportation and walks to and from the stores, to and from the schools. We are a walking community, both environmentally, but also economically, and based out of economic need. I want to second the issue regarding Larson Park. There have been funding commitments, but it's for Larson and Maxwell. I have concerns that Maxwell may get the bulk of it and that Larson will get the short end of the stick. Our park is beautiful, and it is a park that our community gathers in. I'm in it regularly. My children have grown up in that park. They've swam in that swimming hole. They've played in that park weekly. And there's always a ton of our community in that park, but there's not a lot there to support our community's needs. In the letter, something does stand out to me when we look on the second page. The second bullet point, I think, is a really, really important sentence, but I'd like to suggest that we add that it's also when families can't afford to live in the Springs, they leave. And that's contributing to the declining enrollment in our school district.
So where do you want that, Celeste? I'm sorry.
The second bullet point on the second page, where we talk about residents draining out of the Springs,
Mhm.
that can be a contributing factor to the declining enrollment in our schools, as children and families cannot afford to live here, in particular larger families, and families who are unable to have their own housing, they're in shared housing.
We're gonna do public comment in just a couple. Not yet, sorry.
Well, you guys are, like, this is not just happening here.
Sir, public comment opportunity is coming up.
Yeah.
We'll have a second for you to talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for your comments, and we're gonna open it up in just a second. So thank
Really
you.
soon, really
So-
soon, really soon.
So can I manage it? Thanks. Okay.
So yeah, that was the only additional thing is to include something regarding the declining enrollment and families' inability to obtain and find housing to meet the needs, especially of our larger families.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna make a recommendation for a couple of things. One is that we add the sentence that Celeste is talking about, also adding a sentence in the last paragraph about maintaining and upkeeping Larson Park, actually improving, and that we enclose the Caltrans letter with this because it already identifies everything that we've talked about, and we enclose that as an addendum to this letter, so that because we outline it very clearly in great detail about what we want for traffic and roads. So I'm wondering if that might be agreeable, but we need to craft these sentences at this point so that we can vote on the letter. Okay, we'll take public comment here in a minute too. Okay. So we'll hear public comment, we'll add in these sentences, and then we'll vote on the letter. Is that agreeable to the council?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. So I agree with what everybody's saying, and this letter could be significantly longer, but we want people to read it. And then to Hannah's point, we have to keep it, people's attention span is limited. Public comment on the letter. Oh, wait, was there another council member?
Yeah, so sorry, just a second. And we have until July 19th to add comments, right? Is that correct, Iris?
So you guys need to approve the letter today.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will not have time to bring it back before the council for approval if you want them to accept your comment letter. So today
Thank you.
is minor edits, and you guys need to approve those minor edits. Then I need to formalize the letter, send it to Chair Iturri for her signature, receive it, and send it to Permit Sonoma. Well, rather Supervisor Gorin and CC Permit Sonoma. That is
Yeah.
the process. And you guys have just a couple more days.
Iris, thank you, Karina.
Mike, I didn't read it, but I did add CC's to the Board of Supervisors, Permit Sonoma, Sonoma City Council, and North Valley Sonoma MAC. So if that's okay, we need to, think about that too.
I think that's a good addition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, are there public comments?
One more thing, would it be the SBAC? Should that be on there too?
Yeah,
SBAC or?
yeah, thank you. SVCAC. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't make it here on time to be at the beginning of the meeting.
Uh,
And,
We're
uh,
glad you're
Sir,
here.
excuse me,
apologize to
sorry,
everybody.
just, can we have you state your name for the public record? And
Yes.
also Chair Iturri, I need
That
a
would be
time
perfect.
frame.
Greg Larson, I live
3
on
minutes.
Lucas Avenue in the Springs. Been here, in 76. So 1976, not 2076. So anyhow, we've been talking about wages for a long time. The Sarah County supervisors have the right to raise the minimum wage. What they did is they waited for the, Jerry Brown to raise it, and it's gonna be raised to $15 an hour in 2024. We went around with this before COVID many times. It's been something that has been around. So, what we have to do is press them. Hey, you guys need to raise a minimum wage to a living wage. And this is not just happening here. This is happening all over. I was in Idaho in a town, McCall. All the restaurants are closed. They can't get staff in. Why? Because they don't make enough money to live in the place that people are buying their properties and raising the rents and raising the affordable housing that is unaffordable. So people are leaving and they're going somewhere else. The restaurants are closing. It's minimum staffing at its best. And we're in a prime location for this to be happening. Another thing about that I want to stress here is that Tennis Wick, who is the head of Permit Sonoma, raised all the permit fees. And so if he's talking about, and we're talking about affordable housing, when you go to put a dwelling on your property, or you plan on upgrading a bathroom in your home for a handicapped person, or whatever you're gonna do, your permit fees are gonna go through the roof. So our county is talking one thing and doing another. And we would tell them, this isn't acceptable for our community. We're not gonna sit around and watch this stuff happen time after time after time. And this is nothing new. This has been going on for a long time. We have, okay, I'm gonna just give you an example of me. I bought a house for $325,000. I sold that house for $1.75 million. Okay, the taxes I was paying on 325 just tripled for the person that came in. And I'm not the only person that has been doing this here. There are people all through this valley, all through Sonoma County, where the prices have gone so high. Where is this money going? What are they doing with it? We have water shortages that we have to take and put 20% reduction in our water consumption. Why are our county doing something about it? Why isn't our state doing something about it? I mean, I could go on for a long time. This sort of set me off, but I just want to tell you, we got to pick our fight, and we got to get together with the other MACs, the ones that are up in Glen Ellen, the ones that are up in Kenwood, the ones that are up in Rincon Valley, the ones that are all over this county. And we got to get together and we got to tell them we want our roads fixed. We want water supplied to us, either be a desalination plant or recycling the water that comes out of the treatment plant and put it
Your
into
time's up.
our backyards. 4 years ago, there was
Your
a plan.
time's up. I'm sorry, sir.
Am I done?
Yeah, it's 3 minutes. Thank you.
There is a second, we do have a second chance for comment at
Well,
the end, don't we?
We'll,
If you'd like to, no,
we'll
don't we?
be, we're
Oh, we
gonna keep going
don't.
with
We
public
don't. Oh.
comment. Yeah, Yeah, we're done. Thank you. Thank you so much. Are there any other public comments?
Can you hear me?
Mario Castillo, I was just wondering if you guys could add to the letter that we always get the short end of the stick. Because that seems to be like a theme tonight. But yeah, in all seriousness, you know, one of the problems that we consistently have here in the Valley is that we have had a lack of leadership and actually a voice at the county. And in fact, here in the Valley as well, our nonprofits, you know, really the nonprofit that should be voicing concerns around this issue, it's hardly present in this type of conversations. So while this letter is beautiful, I doubt that it's going to make a difference, unfortunately. So it's, gosh, I hate to rain on your parade, but you know, there is at least, you know, you cannot even develop like a beautiful, concise letter, because tonight there seems to be a disagreement in terms of what should the letter consist. And another reason to you know, for the letter to not be taken serious or serious consideration. So it's unfortunate, but we need better representation so that our issues that we've been dealing with since I can remember being a resident of the Springs. Valerie Brown delivered for us literally the lights and the sidewalks. Our supervisor just kind of like did the last push. But other than that, ask her what she has done for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there online comment? How are we going to manage that, Karina?
We are attempting, and Bob is prepared to troubleshoot. So Sarah, if you can please unmute and attempt to make your comment, if you can hear us.
Sarah? Hi.
Sarah, are you there?
Sarah? Sarah or Sandra?
Sarah, we'll talk to you.
No, I'm here.
Just be patient.
Hello? Karina, this is Sandra.
I'm just going to give them all a minute to work it out. It gives us a minute to breathe.
Thank you for your patience, Sandra, and all of those
check.
community members connected.
One,
via
two.
email.
Check. 1,
I
2.
hear Bob.
Check.
And thank you, members of
Check.
council
1, 2.
and audience as well.
Can you hear me? Check. 1, 2. Check.
I'm just excited to see people here, people in virtual land.
Yeah.
Check.
We have 10 online.
Can you put the chat
Check.
back up?
Check. 1, 2.
All you here. Please help yourselves to snacks and water. This is a good opportunity.
Check. 1, 2.
Hear you, Bob. And Sandra, we hear you.
You hear me? Oh, wow, you heard a long sigh then. Yay. The chat would be helpful because I could not communicate with you at this time. I'd like to say that I am very happy to see that you all wrote that letter and advocating for us at the Springs, because I was blown away by the SSP plan and what they were going to or are attempting to do. And the previous gentleman before Mario, I agree with him. I've tried to work with Permit Sonoma. I've talked to Supervisor Gorin, her assistant, and the ombudsman. And state of California should be, the state of California is putting pressure on the counties to add ADUs and more affordable housing. It feels like Permit Sonoma is going away from that. They're just, they've given me every obstacle when it comes to permits. And I've actually written to Susan Gorin saying that they're just getting rich on my permit fees. With no work done. So I finally just pulled the permit, crushed the project, and what is it called? I just ate the money. And with that, that's unfortunate. So I'm very happy that you guys are writing about the permit fees. And unfortunately, I heard that Celeste said that they're raising their permit fees 90%. That's all the public comment I have. I'm so happy that you guys are on it with the SSP plan and how it's going to displace people in the springs. And they should think more about how it's going to affect all of us, not just beautifying the area, but how we can all be there together. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Are there other comments? Okay.
And if you go ahead.
Hello? Hi, hello. Hi, this is Ann Colachitas. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So I live at Polo Sereno Mobile Home Park in the city of Sonoma, and I'm the president of the super chapter of mobile homes in Sonoma and the secretary of Sonoma County Mobile Homes. And I love the letter. I really appreciate the emphasis on the displacement. And I just want to bring to your attention, in Lazaretto's that is a lot of non-subsidized affordable housing there that's represented right there on that parcel. And I really wonder why it's even included in the SP. So none of the other parks, thank goodness, I think are included there along Highway 12 in the SSP project. So I would just ask that you add something that, about preserving and protecting that non-subsidized affordable housing that is represented in Lazaretto's mobile home park.
Thank you.
Rachel, go ahead, unmute and make your comment. Rachel, if you can hear us, please go ahead and unmute, make your comment, state your name for the public record.
Hi, are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, it's Rachel Cusick. I'm delighted that you created some space for us to have public comment about this, and also hearing the letters reassuring. The comments in your letter, I think, are accurate and represent our concerns, my concerns in my neighborhood. I think for me, the most acute concern, and I understand that this is a project that's been in process for years, and that the situation we're in now is quite a bit different than we were in 2016. Regardless, I think it's important to address that. To me, it seems the biggest concerns are based in environmental changes. And it's the climate change and the fires that seem to be our most acute concerns. And I think this plan, whether you like it or not, is going to create more pressure on the few roads in and out of Sonoma that we have. And I'm concerned acutely around the real danger that we're in every year with fire season, and that the plan doesn't really address it. And on a more global scale, I don't think it's doing enough to address the really heavy pressures that we're all experiencing due to climate change, and how it's affecting all of the resources around us. And so I know it's hard to go back after putting so much work into something and address the current needs, but I really think it's foolhardy for the Board of Supervisors to consider that this plan is even relevant, given all of the things that have happened over the past 5 years and where we are today. My strong hope is that they go back to the drawing board on this, as opposed to moving forward with some part of it with that in mind. Thank you. I appreciate the time
Rachel,
to make
can
the
you
comment.
repeat the last couple of sentences?
Did I cut out, Maite?
You did.
I'm sorry.
No,
Can you hear me okay now?
yes.
Yeah, I was saying, to close out, that the environmental concerns have got to be our biggest priority. And whatever that package arrives to you in, if it's concern around the fires, if it's water issues, the employment, all of it's related to environment. And I know this plan's taken a long time to put together, but I don't think it's appropriate for the Board of Supervisors to vote on it given the current reality. It doesn't really reflect where we are today. So I appreciate the public comment time, and I really hope that they'll take that to heart. And I will also send a letter to our supervisors and to Susan Gorin in particular, just with these concerns that we've talked about tonight. So thank you for bringing us together.
Thank you. Are there additional comments? Okay. Unless you want. Is she wanting to speak again? Her hand's probably still up. Okay. All right. Are there any other comments from council members at this point? Closing public comment.
I would urge, this is Iris here, I would urge everyone who spoke tonight to write a letter to the Board of Supervisors and Permit Sonoma about your concerns. Realistically, people in government do not hear from their constituents enough. And statistically, every letter matters a lot.
I agree. Thank you. Are there other comments?
Can you share do you know which emails we should be writing to off the top of your head? Do you know who at Permit Sonoma? Do you know the emails that we should send them to, or could you read them so we can, so
You
everyone can know?
send them, you can address all the letters to the Board of Supervisors, all constituents and any of the council members who individually, as members of the public, want to send their letters. They can send them my way, karina.garcia@sonoma-county.org, and I will make sure that they are sent directly to the Board of Supervisors and or Permit Sonoma.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. So I'm going to make some suggestions on 3 sentences that I think we can include that might capture some of the comments that were made. And I'm just in, see if we can add these that what might help with the climate, Larson Park, and the traffic concern. I can't answer your question right now. My apologies for that. So, so at the second bullet on the first page that says the springs, the SSP addresses physical aspects of the springs, but not the human composition of the springs. And then I'm suggesting in particular climate change, wildfires, and the impact on our population. That does not, but not the human composition of the springs, in particular climate change, wildfires, and the impact on our population. Just a recommendation, just a suggestion. It can all be changed, but we'll add it in and then we can go back and wordsmith them. Yeah, and on our population. That would include, that would keep the spirit of the sentence, which I think is a really powerful standalone sentence, but also brings in the climate change and wildfires. The other addition after on this last paragraph, it says, last but not least, we urge robust attention to be turned to open space, community recreation, and gathering. In addition, and then this is my recommendation. In addition, we strongly recommend that Larson Park receive the needed improvements to make it a safe and usable community space, and maybe even add enjoyable. space. I will. In addition, we strongly recommend that Larson Park receive the needed improvements to make it a safe, usable, and enjoyable community space. Community after, yeah, there you go. And then a standalone sentence after the last paragraph that just says, please see included letter to Caltrans for our recommendations and concerns regarding traffic, pedestrian, and road safety. Our recommendations and concerns regarding traffic, pedestrian, and road safety. We'll go back. Thank you. Please see letter to Caltrans regarding our recommendations. Regarding, you got it right there, our recommendations. Pedestrian. Okay, those are my recommendations to the letter that I tried to hear what people were saying to include those things. So up for comment.
I'd make a motion to approve.
You're good with them? Oh, there was a comment about thank you for bringing that up. Where was that? Do you have a sentence you want to recommend for that? This is an contributing factor to lower school enrollment or something.
I think it's important to specify our public school.
Yeah.
Um,
I agree. What add public in front of school, Karina? You're so good at doing, is this Karina doing this? Okay. I was like, I wasn't sure which one of you was making the changes. Thank you, Karina. Add public in front of school. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, those are the changes.
oops, sorry, not to be nitpicky. Instead of lower, can we say declining?
Yep.
Because
It is declining.
technically it's declining.
Yeah. All right, those are the recommended changes based on public comment and council comment.
I'd like to again make a motion to approve.
And is there a second?
I'd like to second that. Thank you.
Okay, I think Ron's seconding it too. There are lots of seconds on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Letter passes. And then can you, do we need to, oh, maybe we don't. It's already, you already got it there. Never mind, you're way ahead. Thank you. The enclosed part.
I heard SBCAC as an additional CC.
Yes.
Did I miss anyone else?
No, I wasn't sure if it had said enclosed Caltrans letter and you already did it. So thank you. Beautiful. All right. And I still recommend that we write a letter about Larson Park specifically, and in particular, the comment that was made about Larson Park and Maxwell. So perhaps somebody might be willing. There's some great letter writers on this committee. Okay, thank you. That closes that item. Okay. Do we need a break or do we want to keep going? We've got a couple items left. Okay, I got heard two different things. Okay. We'd like to give him a break if we can. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 items. I'm going to keep going. Okay, if the interpreter's all right. So the next one is e-waste recycling and hauling event. Jesus had asked about having an event like this. And I think that the council is agreeable to that. We need somebody willing to take the lead, and perhaps, I think we also heard in public comment, including shredding. So perhaps that can be included in this as well. Are there comments from the council on on the MAC supporting something like this? Celeste?
So I'm going to age myself a little bit here.
It's all right.
Way back when, before we had the Springs Mac, we had stiff
Hold on.
kick.
Hold on, what is going on?
I apologize. I neglected to let the council and the public know we received a public comment on the spring specific plan comment in advance, and it was an email from Caitlin Cornwall that was shared with the council. If any members of the public wish to see that item or that document, they can go to the Springs Mac website and obtain it from there.
Thank you. My apologies. I should have remembered that as well. Thank you. Okay, go ahead. You were dating yourself.
Yes, I was dating myself. So we used to be stiff kick, and we used to actually do an event like that regularly. We did it sometimes twice a year, but at least once a year. And we worked with the local I don't remember who the garbage company was at that time, but now we would work with Recology. And they brought in large dumpsters, they separated their recycling, but people also were able to bring large items because we were having issues in the springs with large items being dumped, especially at the creek. And so it was an opportunity to decrease that from happening by providing an appropriate and safe space for people to go ahead and get rid of those items, including e-waste, also paints, chemicals, those types of things. So we did it twice a year. It was really successful. And I do remember that it did decrease a lot of like the piling up of chemicals that could interact badly with one another and cause fires, as well as the decreasing of couches and mattresses sort of landing in places we don't want them. So I'd like to suggest that if we do something like that, that we do partner with our local disposal company to see about creating it even, I would suggest beyond the e-waste, to create also the large item aspect of it.
Marty Hardeman, then Iris.
Sorry. Yes, thank you for the suggestion, Celeste. I think it would be important to request the use of the East Thompson parking lot, because that's where they used to put the container. And I don't recall if back then it was a parking lot already from the county, but definitely and at that time a Royal Hospital used to be part of it because of Richley, the Springs Alliance, or a stiff kick. So yes, I concur, especially with all the dumping that's taking place at local thrift stores on Highway 12. I think they're getting the garbage that they're not deserving because of events that are not occurring. So I think this would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Iris?
I'd like to propose something like a bring it and see if somebody will take it portion to the event. There are good things that are being that people are looking to get rid of. Lots of house cleaning during COVID. And it might be possible to ask perhaps Goodwill, certainly Beaumarchais, folks locally to come in and look over it and see if anything could be good for their thrift stores too. Because some things just, don't go in various venues. It's an idea.
Okay. Thank you. Hannah, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that September 17th is Coastal Cleanup Day. And so we'll be doing a cleanup at Larson Park. And I think we had people bring their large items last time when we did coastal cleanup last September. So we could do something like that again. We did it at Larson Park and we got dumpsters I think maybe we didn't tell people that they could bring their stuff because we were worried we'd get too much stuff. So if we had extra support, it's a really nice day to kind of combine those two ideas of preventing these items from going in the waterway and getting the community together to clean the creek along Larson Park. So I'm going to be doing coastal cleanup day for that day, and I would be happy to work on this, hopefully with some other people for September 17th.
Okay, I think that's the fire preparedness event is on the 10th. So that's good. It could be a way to promote it. I'm wondering about Mexican Independence Day and what events might be happening on the weekend for that, and if there'd be a conflict. Is this a morning event that you're doing on the 17th?
I think we did it kind of in the, yeah, it was a morning event. Yeah.
Do we know what events are happening on the weekend for Independence Day? Nothing yet?
Not off the top of my head, but I know the city of Sonoma usually does something, and most cities around the Bay Area usually have something either the weekend prior or the weekend after Independence Day, depending on the day it falls.
Okay, so if this is a morning, maybe both could coexist. So I think what I'm hearing is that we try to combine it with the coastal cleanup. We include the components that have been suggested. And this is partnering with a shredding organization, an e-waste organization, a recycling, hauling, and maybe some of the local secondhand thrift stores who might be willing to come in and look over the items to see if we can prevent it from ending up in a landfill. So that's a big event. It sounds awesome, and I'm excited about it.
Thought I mentioned that July 24th through the 30th is actually Zero Waste Week. So there's a lot of events happening precisely around this topic about reusing and recycling. So just wanted to share that.
Any organizations we could possibly partner with?
It has already events that are happening that I guess they were pre-planned already because this is the week for that. Just as a coincidence.
Yeah.
Can you say what dates again? July 21st?
The 24th through the 30th is the week for Zero Waste.
Thank you.
Jesus, this was kind of your vision. Do you have any comments on what you're hearing? And
Yes, I love all of the comments and ideas. I would like to participate and be one of the organizers. But this is the first time that I am organizing something, so I need a co-organizer that can help me coordinate and bring all of these organizations and make it a big event where people can get rid of their stuff and just not dump it on the streets and continue our beautiful community. Thank you.
thank you, Jesus. I'll go to public comment unless there are other comments from council, and then we'll ask for some volunteers. Can you go to the podium, please? Thank you.
Greg Larson, I live on Lucas Avenue in the Springs. So I just, on the recycling thing here, we're talking about getting dumpsters and putting them in Larson Park. Is that what the deal is?
It's possible.
Okay, so when we get the dumpsters and we put them in Larson Park, where do they go from there?
Recology picks them up. And
Ecology will come and get them,
yes.
because I know the dumps won't take that. I went and had, metal gutters that I took off my house, packed
Mhm.
them up, went there, they told me, sorry, we're not taking that anymore.
Yeah, I've worked with them before and we've had them pick stuff up after we clean like the creek and stuff, and we separate it.
People at ecology, they're pretty much on this stuff, but they only take certain things. They don't take a
Mhm.
lot of things. So we have to make sure that what we're gonna throw into dumpsters to go to.
Sure. Just some more information. We tend to work with Sonoma Ecology Center and they help us to make sure that everything we're recycling is recyclable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that public services, they don't do that.
Thank you. Thanks for the word of warning. Okay. Any other public comment?
My name is Sarah Bugarin Quinones. I live on Linden Street in El Verano, and I am totally for this. I would really, I appreciate something like that. If I may suggest, maybe having different sites maybe even involving the school districts being, school sites being accessible for those people that don't have transportation or just have bulky items, and or perhaps even connecting with local businesses that perhaps can facilitate that to the sites. Maybe in a way arranging, a bin for rubbish and mattresses, and another at a different site for yard waste and toxins or but this is great. This is awesome, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. Thank you. Thank you.
So I wanna second this great idea actually. But I wanted to kind of like comment that I would ask, whether it's Jesus or whoever ends up helping him, to really think of who will likely benefit from this event. There's maybe it could be just my perception, but there's this idea that the Latinx community is it's willing or in need of taking just about anything, and somehow because they may not be able to afford to buy a brand new couch, living room, bed, or whatever it is, that it's really not always them who are. Is that?
No, that was the old one.
I want to be respectful of the time. So it's not really that portion of the community who ends up benefiting from this service. So I just wanted to, oftentimes people just like weird people putting all kinds of like trashy stuff on the corner thinking that we're going to end up taking it. So that's one. The other is the educational component. There's a lot of people out there, like my wife, she's saving like batteries, like light bulbs and a bunch, all kinds of things, right? And oftentimes we don't know where to take it or who to take it to or whatever it is. So, I mean, I'm not sure if, I know that Jesus said that he doesn't have that he doesn't think that he has the, I guess, the expertise or this might be like the first event that he's doing but there's a lot of people in the community who actually have been doing events and things for a while that I'm sure will likely partner with the group to make this happen. I'm certainly happy to help. I'm not sure that I'm the right, I would be the right person that he wants to partner with, but certainly I'm open to. I just wanted to point that out. So thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a follow-up question of Mario or no? Oh, okay. Well, is that okay? Can I ask him a follow-up question about his comment? Is that okay? Well, you just said that you felt like some people, that you said the Latinx community might not be able to take advantage of this event. And I just want to understand. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So something that Mario was saying, it struck something in me too, is that when we do events like this, in particular, when we're including large items, one of the groups that it benefits heavily are those who live in more dense housing, who live in apartments, because they don't have individual garbage services to call for a large item pickup. So Recology, if you have your own garbage service, you get 4 large item pickups a year at no cost. But if you live in an apartment complex, you're utilizing the apartment dumpster, and you can't call for a large item pickup as you would if you lived in a single residence dwelling. And so that also goes for toxic waste pickups and those kinds of items. And so also going with another commenter, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, I apologize. Better, thank you. Having it in the multiple locations so that those who do live in the multi-house apartment style buildings, but who may also have limited transportation, that they would be able to access a site to bring these items since they don't have their own individual garbage services.
Thank you. I also, well, sorry, Joe, go.
So I just wanted to clarify one thing I think Mario said too. I believe you were also speaking to, I know, Iris, your idea of bringing things that may get a second life somewhere. And I feel like you were kind of saying to be careful with what's brought, because if it is your junk, someone else might not want it. And that's the other thing I think to think about too. I almost feel like that almost needs to be a separate something than this, because all of a sudden, if there's a big pile of like, someone might want this, and then end of the day, nobody wanted it, who's gonna get it into the dumpsters and sort it out and get it where it needs to go?
Actually, I wasn't directing that at any particular community.
I knew that.
Okay, but, and I figure if it doesn't get taken, at the end of the day, it can go in the dumpster. Because I mean, I see things left on the corners all the time in front of people's houses. The ones that really bother me are furniture. People walk their dogs in our neighborhood. I wouldn't pick up anything off this, any piece of furniture off the street, you know. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you. One of the things that I think is important is the toxic waste, because the only place you can get rid of that is driving it all the way to Petaluma. So I think that would be an important piece of offering that service here in Sonoma Valley, because it's not accessible to most people, especially if you don't drive to Zyra's point. So is there anyone, I know there are a couple of volunteers, and we can have 3 folks form an ad hoc to do this work. And it's again, this is not a year-long ad hoc, this is an event ad hoc. So I think there's Jesus and Hannah, if I'm hearing that correctly. Is there anyone else who might be interested? All right, Celeste. Okay, then there'll be plenty of opportunity if you aren't, if you're not passionate about this, we have lots of other ad hocs for you to be a part of. Okay, so we have Jesus, Hannah, and Celeste who will take the lead on this event. We are going to we'll try for the September 17th date and see if that works. Okay, great. Thank you, Jesus, for bringing it to the council. Okay. Item 9 is closed. Item 10, ad hoc updates. So we've had several ad hocs throughout the last few years, and emergency preparedness was kind of our first ad hoc, and it helped launch Map Your Neighborhood, which Iris and Maricarmen and Dana played a big role in, and it's bilingual. And so we've had some successes. We're still working that program outside of the MAC. And the emergency preparedness work is still happening outside the MAC as well, but a lot of these got their start. We currently have Community Voice, an outreach ad hoc, an arts ad hoc, and the roads ad hoc. And Community Voice, I don't think a lot of work has been done on that one. So I'm not sure that there's a report on that. But the outreach ad hoc, is there anything that you want to share with us? A short report on what you've been doing?
That would be me, right?
That would be you.
Correct. Well, since our meetings are gonna be held, since we don't know the future of our how we're gonna hold our meetings, I'm still holding on to whether or not should print more flyers because well, it's not certain. I will just need to talk to Karina and Ariel about the flyer, and hopefully I can get our new members on board about spreading the word, and we can get more people coming into the council meetings, and yeah, I'll talk to Karina. Thank you.
Thank you. Money.
I had a question. What was the ad hoc that was done for the festival? Didn't we create one for that? I forgot what the name is, but you and
I think that's the Community Voice one, and we turned it into, it was going to be a town hall. So yes, you're helping me remember that. So
there is activity because we're working on the
yeah.
emergency attorney.
So would you like to give a report on that?
It just transformed.
Yes.
Yes. So as Maite mentioned earlier, we initially thought about doing a town hall, but it transformed into a community festival that transformed into community festival / emergency preparedness that it's set for this September 10th. But we do still want to have a section where we can get feedback from the community on issues that are important to the spring. So it's not necessarily a town hall, but we still do want to get the feedback. I think that's where we're, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll report on the art ad hoc. We have, as not much has changed other than Artscape is considering. So we, for those who have not been a part of the meeting, we have bike racks that Sonoma County Transportation has helped us acquire, and they'll be placed at some of the bus stops along Highway 12. And one of the projects is to decorate them in some fashion, and Artscape is taking that into consideration to help support us with that effort. So we have the bike rack sitting at the county office on Grove Street that we need to take a look at and get it to Artscape for them to help us make a determination on what can be done with them. So that's where we are with the arts ad hoc. And we have the roads ad hoc. I think so, yes.
Karina, I think you should give us update because wasn't the last update that you're going to tell us when we're doing it?
So yeah, Iris is also part of that roads ad hoc. I just got back from some time off and catching up on a lot of emails. And I think I'm still sleeping in 3 different time zones. That said, so we're working with Transportation and Public Works, Janice Thompson, on creating that list. We have an internal list in Supervisor Gorin's office. Anytime we hear from a constituent complaining about road upkeep, we add it to the list if it's not already on that list. We will be sharing that list with the ad hoc, as well as the North Sonoma Valley MAC ad hoc. I believe they met while I was away, and I believe they created an ad hoc as well. If they did, then the 2 ad hocs will meet with Transportation and Public Works to sort of get the ball rolling on this. So there is a meeting that will be coming up. Hopefully it happens before your next meeting and you guys can update the council.
Thank you. Okay. Any public comment on the ad hoc report?
So speaking of your comment about who this group and how this group actually represents us here in our community and how powerful we should be, I think that this report that I just did speaks to how the potential of how you guys could actually literally get your community behind you. If you don't have audience here, if you don't have people actively participating on Facebook, if you don't have people coming in and complaining, I would not call it complaining. I would call it more like suggesting of sharing concerns. So being more strategical in terms of how you're doing this work. You literally are being given the position of being representative of us here in the Springs. And until we are either incorporated to the city of Sonoma, or we get a better representation, you're our best bet. So how you guys are actually getting us, representing us and getting us to work together, it's very, very important. It's crucial. So, there's tons of ideas out there. There's a lot of talented people here in this community. There's a lot of nonprofits. There's a lot of, so there's definitely potential. Luckily, you guys just got today, Celeste was amazing, amazing voice in this community. Joe, you sit on you work for an organization that has a huge numbers of people who actually live here in the Springs to serve from the Boys and Girls Club. So take advantage of that. I'm not sitting I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna be sitting in your position. But if I was, outreach would be something that I would be definitely an opportunity that I would take on to really organize our community behind you. Because unless you have the support of the community, whatever letter you're sent to the county, it's almost meaningless.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Just going back to the arts ad hoc. If Artiscape doesn't want that undertaking, I know it's a small thing, let me know. Or if they want to split it up
I
or
think
whatever.
there's room on the
That's what I'm saying.
ad hoc committee if you
Well,
like.
Yeah, I mean, I can help because I know people. I'm not the artist, but I know lots of them and
Okay.
great ones in the valley.
Well, I think there may be enough bike racks to go around too.
That's what I was
Both of
thinking.
You are
So-
like really bidding for the job.
Well, I don't know if we are. I'm putting other people's names in the hat right now, but I feel pretty good about it.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Okay. Yes.
I'd like to say that it's just an idea that's come to me quite recently, but I am wondering about attempting to form a support group for the MAC from community organizations that was who I thought of originally, but also other community members who could help us with activities, fill in the gaps on things we don't know in the community. The wealth of material that's out there about our community is pretty much overwhelming. Trying to keep up with it is a big job. And almost everybody here is employed. So I'm thinking a community support group for the MAC might be something we could consider. Thank you.
Like emotional support. No, I'm just kidding. I could use that. Yeah, thanks.
So I think, what I think I hear you saying is it's somewhere in between community voice and outreach, that it's some kind of, it's perhaps a group that is comprised of community-based organizations that might come together to identify things that we could work on together. I think it's kind of what I hear you saying. I'm filling in quite a bit.
It is basically, and I did just think of it recently when I was writing this darn letter. Because there are definitely people in the community who know a whole lot more about some of these issues than certainly I do, and I think most of us do, honestly. There's so much to know. And that kind of expertise would be helpful when we have to do, I mean, because it is something we're called on to do. And also it would hopefully spread the load. And, the knowledge, the outreach, the way that all those things reach, the mycelium.
All right, thank you.
Right,
Jesus.
comment. Yes. Well, at the beginning of when I started to become a council member and I became part of the outreach committee, I tried to talk to the organizations in our community about the MAC, and a lot of them are they're very happy that we exist, and I would really like for them to also promote us because when they spread the word, they're helping us, and then in a way we're here to help them. So I did try to talk to them, and I guess it's just a matter of going again and talk to them and really pursue them to promote us, because this is all just not one single organization trying to help the Springs. It's everybody all together, full force for the community. So yeah, that's my comment. I did talk to some organizations, and we need to talk to a whole lot more. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I mean, to piggyback on that, I think, you know, being a part of one of the larger nonprofits in the valley, and I think most, and I'm connected with most nonprofits in the valley, would be more than willing to at least share out through their socials and whatnot, you know, a one pager about what it is and maybe some wins, you know, quick little updates. But I know nonprofits would not have a problem at all blasting things out to the community.
Yeah, I also, to everyone's point, and this is actually turning into a larger item than expected, but I also think that it's about us, but it's also input, right? It's not just about us feeding out information, but it's about us gathering information. And I think those are the pathways that need to be mined a little bit more for us. Has been pointed out a couple of times tonight about the cultural relevancy of the community that we serve, and make sure that we're paying attention to that, and that we are providing information, but that we're also receiving of it. I read a book a long time ago about, it was something feedback, and I was like, oh, I'm going to read this book and I'm going to learn how to give great feedback. And that's not what it was about at all. It's about receiving feedback. So I think we really have to be open to that. And that's how you build community and build a coalition, is by hearing what's happening in our community. So I just think that we need to look at both the give and take in the both pathways for public participation.
And I agree with you all. And I think that some organizations need to recommit, because in the past they had committed through email that they would attend with their community engagement, certain organizations in the spring. So I think that they need to hold true, you know, to the accountability, because they represent the community. And we need to invite the new organizations that have not attended. But in a sense, this could be very similar to what the DLACs and ELACs are, where they come and provide feedback and get information from us also, because they say to provide civic engagement to the community. And, you know, that's what we're representing, and community empowerment in a sense, you know, we're on the borderline of that. So I think that, you know, if they're under new leadership, we need to, you know, revisit and reconnect with the admin, not just the frontline staff, but actually, you know, check in and get commitment from their leadership. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we're turning this into an item that I'm gonna need, we can agendize it perhaps, Karina.
It sounds
But
to me like you guys want to focus on promotion and outreach, and that's why an outreach ad hoc was created. I do want to mention that everything is important. Everything that is being said is important, but we got to keep in mind we were in lockdown for 2 years. So when I took on this MAC, we immediately went into a virtual world. We had no opportunity to go knock on doors and ask organizations to come and help promote the work that the MAC was engaged in. And even when there was an opportunity, everyone was focused on recovery, on resources, on, you know, financial needs, on food necessity. And I think that we're finally starting to sort of get out of, I mean, we're still all wearing masks, right? We're wearing masks. That still tells you the times, but I think it's great. I think it's important to communicate with the community. And now that you have new council members, there's going to be new energy, new ideas, and new opportunities. So welcome new members and welcome new ideas. And I'm happy to agendize, and I know that's coming up. So Chair
Thank you.
Iturri, let me know.
All right, thank you. Okay. Thank you for the reports. We'll move on to consideration of future agenda items, and I'll tell you what we have on the list at this point. We have I think we got the mobile response team to respond to us, and they're going to come to the August meeting. That's exciting. So we'll get to hear what's available here in the Valley. The inspiration for that was a SAFE team and the different response teams that are happening around the Valley or around the county, and what that looks like. Also in September, October, November, and December, we're working this out. We have the Springs Farmer Market, economic growth, housing, preservation and protection, expanding the boundaries of the Springs MAC, similar to the what the North Valley MAC had stated, business and restaurant permitting, ERAF, we heard tonight, a letter about Larson Park, and now the community conversation are the things that I've heard so far. Is there anything else that needs to be added to the list? And just know that we go through this list on a regular basis and fill in where we can and who's available.
A follow-up question on the Larson Park. Did you assign someone to write a letter?
I did not, that's why I didn't, that's why I'm adding it, because we didn't.
Okay,
assign-
so you want to choose that in August?
Yes.
And also, Chief Akers giving his quarterly update at the August meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. All right, so maybe we don't need to, we have Iris and Hannah volunteering in the letter. Okay, we can take that off the agenda. Thank you.
I had a quick question.
You
Do
want-
we have any updates about SBCAC this meeting?
The SBCAC, there has not been an SBCAC meeting.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And it's
To
canceled for
clarify,
July.
Chair
also.
Iturri, Iris and Hannah are working on the letter and bringing a draft to be approved
For
at the August meeting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Are there any other topics? New council members or anyone else want to add to the list, the ever-growing list?
Did
Iris and then Celeste?
did we get a visit from Sonoma County Transit on there? That the transportation in all over the county is
The
appalling.
bus transportation?
Yeah. But
We can add that.
yeah,
We have not heard from them.
okay, I'd like to.
They've been very cooperative with us and with the bike rack, but we can. have them
Yeah,
come to you.
I'd like to ask them why we can't get smaller buses and even,
We'll add it to the
yeah,
list.
thank you.
Thank you. Celeste?
Yes, I'd like to suggest that perhaps in October, just looking ahead, to invite somebody from the administration of Sonoma Valley Unified School District, specifically Superintendent Palazuelos, to come do a check-in. Now, at that point, school will have been in session for a couple of months. And I think it's important that we hear how our students are doing and have the district give an update on what they'll be doing to meet the needs of our students, in particular our students in the Springs, who many of whom belong to multiple protected classes. So I think October would be a good time to hear that update.
Thank you. Any other requests? Okay, seeing none. Oh, sorry, public comment. My apologies.
So I want to second the idea of revisiting the way the MAC does outreach. And I also want to invite the MAC to reconsider when agendizing how to maybe take so maybe perhaps taking a deeper look in terms of the content of what you've been presenting. So when you're going out there and then trying to promote the MAC, what is it that you're trying to present? Is it the vision of the county, or is it the work that you're doing to represent the county? Because those are two different things. So people are, and then so I mean, it's almost like what are you selling out there? What are you offering? Why should people be paying attention to you? Are you really representative of the needs of this community? For instance, you know, the item that Celeste, that council members Winters just proposed is relevant to our community. It's very relevant. There is a real concern in terms of how the district is serving our community. So I take that a lot of families would want to hear what's happening. And it's likely that you could market on that. Now, if you promote a visit from our county supervisor, it's unlikely that our Latinx community would want to come. I'm sorry. So think of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Mr. Larson.
Greg Larson. I have a few. So right now, we're in like an 8-year drought. About 4 years ago, the treatment plant out on A Street East opened up their doors to people with tanks that they could put in the back of their pickups and go out there and get water and bring it back and water their yards. We need to reinstate that. I called up, they know nothing about it. They said, we don't even know what you're talking about. So that's one issue that we should do. And what they should do is they should supply a water truck to go around to people that have like rain barrels on their property, on their curbside, so that you call them up and they deliver the water to you instead of you going out there. So that there would be one issue. Another, they should be supplying solar incentives. Our county does not supply any solar incentives. If we're talking about global warming and climate change, solar is the one thing that is going to make a big difference in this world. And we should be forcing our county to give us incentives to put solar in our homes. When those wildfires came through and PG&E was 84 counts of involuntary manslaughter and 1 count of negligence, everybody was talking microgrids. Well, we're going to do microgrids. We're going to do this with PG&E. We're going to do that. Okay, that's all gone. They're not doing anything with PG&E. PG&E is raising the rates when they want to do it. Incentives for solar from our county, with all the money that they are collecting from taxes, all the money that they are taking from the Permit Sonoma. When you go in there, we have a budget of $42 million for Permit Sonoma. That pays for their wages, that pays for their pensions, that pays for their medical, that pays for the whole staffing. They charge you for plan checks. They charge you for permits for anything, everything that you need, and they just raise the price. Where does that money go? Where is it going? Let's put it back into our communities. We have another thing called TOX, Transit Occupancy Tax. 25% of the money that is raised from TOX goes into the general fund. The other goes to the harvest fair. That doesn't help our community. That helps the wine growers. That helps the people that are competing against themselves, but that comes out of that money. We need 75% of the money that is from TOTS goes to the Bureau of Tourism, Commerce, the wineries. It goes to ag. It goes to that. We need to take and reverse that. We need to say, okay, here's 25% of that money. We're going to take 75% and put it into the programs that benefit the communities and the people that we live with, not wineries and not tourism. And we don't need that. We have enough of that already. We advertise for hotels. We advertise for hotels. We got to change that.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Oh, hi.
Again, once more, Zaira Bulgarin Quinones, resident of Rondo. To maybe suggest to the arts ad hoc, maybe connecting with those property owners who frequently have graffiti, and maybe seeing if a local nonprofit, a local artist may be able to just make it better. I feel that once we see the art, our youth or whoever it is might think twice before making their community unsightly. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any final comments?
Thank you to all of the public members of the public for all your comments. We really thank you, and we're very appreciative that you are here, and really from the bottom of my heart, I don't know, from their bottom of my heart, but yes, we really thank you all for all your comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. So I'd like to thank KSBY. Bob was here and worked through all the issues. Lynn Marie for always taking notes for us. Juan in the back interpreting, Sonoma Valley Unified for providing the space, again to the community for being here and being online with us. Supervisor Gorin's office and Karina for all the support that they offer. Our next meeting is August 10th. It will be at 6:30. We will announce in the next week or so whether it'll be virtual or in person after we do a little bit of evaluation on this format. And at this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All right, Iris. You'll want to stay for another hour. Stay a little longer. All right, all in favor?
I.
All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
It was fun.